Nikki, I want to absolutely welcome you and thank you so much for being here. You have chosen today for us to interview you, which is exciting. And we're going to talk about grounded alignment.
Yes. Pretty
So why
excited.
don't you start about telling us what does grounded alignment mean to you?
Grounded alignment, well, it's always something I've always had. I've always felt this need, even if I've steered off course, to kind of align myself again and get right with my values and my beliefs. Um, it's something that has grown and I've become more aware of over time. I have really just learned to trust my instinct and trust myself, and um, put boundaries in place to where it make really hard decisions, but knowing that they're like, I have trust in myself. People question my my decisions a lot, and sometimes you just have to turn off the outside world and the outside opinions and really go within and trust that you're making the right decision for yourself and as for my kids as well. So being aligned and grounded alignment has been something that I pride myself on, for sure.
That's cool. And so tell me how you do grounded alignment has changed over time.
Um, I haven't really given a whole lot of thought of that until just now, but I would say that my alignment or my boundaries um, in the past were very, very firm, very strict, very my way or the highway type of boundary. They were very firm. Um, as I was a single mom going through school, I had, my ex that I had to deal with and manage the relationship with my child. And that was a hard one because they weren't always, making the right decisions. And I was nervous about the impact that would have on my kid. So there was very strict rules that eventually, in my life, I became guarded. And that took me away from being being aligned as well. So I had to deconstruct those that brick wall that I built, that I felt was a protection at the time, or it was in my head my boundaries, and it helped me really steer my direction. But I knew that a life with these walls it wasn't as grounded as I wanted to be. I found that with people and realizing that there's really no black or white, and finding alignment and grounding myself allows me to love and trust people. And let me take the word trust back, but love people where they are, right? And I don't have to trust you, and I don't have to, because I trust myself. So I don't have to dictate the rules that you play by, because I'll play by my rules. So that's kind of how I grew from this idea of boundaries and alignment and grounding myself and managing my own beliefs and values, and kind of really growing and changing into, it's more about my internal than, controlling the external.
I really love that, and particularly the sort of elegance that you have developed over time through, sort of releasing the attachment to the other person and really getting clear on you and where your sort of your own personal boundaries are, what you're like, you play by your own rules, and the other people can do their thing. And you get to decide sort of where you're engaging and where you're not and how and so on. I love that.
And Nikki, the extra flexibility you've grown with, as you've matured with this, I think you're still just as strong, but you have more flexibility now. How has that shown up for other people? How do they experience you differently now that the value is still the value? What's important is still what's important, but how your flexibility around that, what does that mean for others?
It's huge, to be honest. It probably came across hostile before, not gonna lie. A lot of fuck yous, I don't care, my way or the highway type attitude. And a little bit of a right fighter, I was like, no, my way is the right way, and I I've allowed that to grow, which allowed for less hostility and tension within a relationship. And all relationships, I mean, with my children, with my mother, with my family, exes, all friends, all of it, right? I allow them to kind of be authentic, and I just allow them to be who they are. And like I said earlier, I love them, but that doesn't mean I need to agree with everything they do, or trust them, because at the end of the day, their decisions are for them. And it's allowed me to just not react. I respond now in my world versus become really reactive. And that is definitely a huge changing point in my life, for sure.
I love that. It really shows how someone could have a grounded alignment that's out of their awareness, right?
Yeah.
And that
Yes.
as it becomes more and more into their awareness, they have more choice in their world about how they do grounded alignment. And we find that in the spectrum. Very early on in the spectrum, people don't have grounded alignment at all. So they're like all over the place, and it's whatever way the wind's blowing. And it's all about how people feel and how they feel, and got to make you feel better. So I'll align with you in such a way that you now feel okay. And it's exhausting. Right? And then when
Yes, I've
people
been there.
get their grounded alignment, often in a place of that's it.
Well, I think you're right, KK, because really when I talk about that strict boundaries and that wall that I built, that was after many years of trying to please and trying to, create, a happy environment, or, you give, and that did become exhausting. And then it was like, I'm on this side of the spectrum and I went all the way to this side of the spectrum, right?
Pendulum swings.
Yeah, the pendulum swings, yeah.
Yeah. And there was, I would say now, and not that I won't continue on my journey, but I've learned how to create that balance where I'm not swinging so, in the extreme side of the spectrums. I'm kind of able to kind of balance in the middle.
I love it. One of the things that we measure to see where people are on the spectrum on grounded alignment is the amount of actual confidence that they feel, not just what they can, puff up and master into the world, which is often what's happening when we're really strict, right? We're trying to put on an air of confidence. How is how you experience yourself as confident? How has that changed? And where are you now?
I am, well, again, those outside voices, like the external opinions, really did matter to me most of my life. And I'm not gonna lie, they still do. I still get caught into that mindset. But I catch it quicker. I am able to address it quicker. I'm able to really just find out, is that a personal thing I have with my own confidence, or is that someone else's voice telling me that? So I'm able to kind of tell the difference of whether that's inner work that I got to do, or whether I just can drop it because it's somebody else's opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's cool.
Did I answer the question there?
You did. And I have a follow-up now, which is very cool. So at the time of this conversation, you're in currently our highest level program that we offer. And one of the things that's coming up for you is a deep dive into what your values are at an unconscious level, the ones that you're maybe not even aware of. And when you actually know what they are, and you can put language around them and see how they affect your life, how is that going to change your level of confidence? What do you see next for you once you have that data in your hot little hands?
I just find, again, that so when you can get really aligned with your values, everything else just feels effortless. Everything else, you just trust. You just kind of go with the flow, knowing that things, and that your inner guidance is going to, guide you in the right direction. Sometimes I make decisions that people question, and it really is just kind of going back to my beliefs and my values. And I'm really excited to dive into, I can take a few guesses of mine, but I'd really like to dive deep into the ones that, are in the core, and that are really going to drive me to not just my success, but my, to be my best the version of myself, as a mom, as an entrepreneur, and just in this community and the community that I live in. Like, I just want to want to present and offer my best self, you know?
Absolutely. Thank you, Nikki. Casey, did you have
Ew.
anything else I kind of
No, it's awesome. I love this. And I really love the, I think you're such a great example of the strong women that are, you know, running their lives. And I really want to sort of acknowledge your clarity on, you know, you've kept stuff pretty simple. It's like, here's what my beliefs are. You're super clear on it. And as a result, you know, you're able to create this impact in your family, in your business, in your world. And that's amazing.
Thank you. I've loved this conversation. Thank you, ladies.